everything's going live. The profile is not going live for some reason. The profile does not want to sync up. I'm going to give it a moment here. Maybe that's not going to work. So we'll try that again in a minute. But everybody else is up. Looks like the tubes, Facebook, everything else is live. Let me get some of this stuff linked in. Let me get this, and then we'll give it a go. Yeah, I don't know why the profile all of a sudden is having problems today. But hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would do a live for you guys and gals. We should be public. We're not seeing anyone on Facebook. There we go. We're getting some people now. Getting some people finally in the tubes. All right. Everything's syncing a little slow though. I can't get the profile up and going. But there we go. At least we got the first like on the tubes. And it's taking everything a minute here. We're not getting that strong of a signal here. And let me try this one more time on the profile and see if it will work. The profile is not behaving today though. How you doing, Lionel? Good to see you in here, man. All right, looks like no, the profile is just not going to do this today. All right. I don't know what the deal is. Is it? You know, I'm going to have to just chill on the profile. I guess we can't triple stream today, unfortunately. How you doing, Lacey? Doing good. I'm doing good here. Just getting, like I said, getting the cardio done. Did you get an alert for this, by the way, or did you just happen to see it? Hopefully it's hitting people's alerts. But yeah. There we go. Finally getting a couple more people in, a couple minutes in. Yeah, guys, had a really good workout today. Wasn't happy with the overhead pressing today, but everything else I did just from YouTube. So you got an alert. Okay, cool. Cool. So it's going out into people's stuff. That's a good thing. We need to have that. Yeah, workout was really good today other than the overhead press. I'm trying to get stronger on it. When I added more weight, I simply could not lock it. I tried 3 different grips. I'm just going to have to keep working on it. You guys know I haven't had the ability to lock that out. We've been getting really, really close with lighter weights, but I went up to a full plate aside. 3 different grips, can't get the lockout at all. So, you know, what do? We just keep working on it. But everything else is going great with the training. Really happy with it. I felt a little leaner today, right? You know, felt a little leaner today. But yeah, ultimately, it's the issue of I just have no ability to lock through that. No strength or mobility at that position at the top, right? But I'm hoping more and more just dead hang pull-ups, continuing to allow the bicep inflammation to go away. It will improve over time. But I'm noticing if I stick with really light weights, I can almost get there. But as soon as I put any remotely respectable weight, we run out of steam. But we'll just keep working on it. I feel like I should do a little incline work in that slot too, though, just to help. All right. I don't think it'd be a bad thing. Dingleberry says, when people cut and usually get abs, is it because of the muscle built from squats and deadlifts? No, it's because they lost the body fat. Everyone has abs. Dingleberry. Considering most people don't even do squats and deadlifts who go to the gym, that seems like a rather strange assumption. Most people don't squat and deadlift who go to the gym. So why would you think that that's what's causing people to get abs? Everyone has a six-pack. If you get lean enough, you will have a six-pack. Joe says, Jason, do you have any goals for the running? For example, working up to 5Ks? You mean working back down to 5Ks? I don't really understand the question. I was regularly running way past 5K. I trimmed it down to 5Ks. You mean, did I trim it back down to that? Yeah, I'm working on eventually the 5K times. So my next goal is I'd like this year to while squatting 500. I would like to get my 5Ks under 25 minutes consistently. All right, like I hit a 28-minute 5K like last week. All right, if you follow the running course, you already kind of see all the stats. All right. I cut pretty quickly, low body weight, so no abs. You still have too much fat. Dingleberry, it's very simple. If you don't have abs, you're just not lean enough. It doesn't matter. You're like, but I'm down to 100 pounds. Well, you don't have any muscle. That's no offense, but that's why. Me and Maya are popping right now. I've been cutting real really cool. Not too much strength loss. Good stuff, Lacey. Dingleberg says, what I'm saying is most people need to develop them or they need to cut pretty low weight in order to see them. Yes, everybody has a six-pack. Let me state that again. You have a six-pack. It's just covered by body fat. Make sense? Stu B says, hope we get more live runs. They're all on Facebook. I'm not doing any of them on the tubes anymore. So you're not getting any of them here, but they're on Facebook. And I've explained why. You guys know, because we don't do more than 3 pieces of content a day on the tubes. They have let me know they don't want more than that. So I'm not wasting a run on it. You know, hope to get more. I think they need to be developed to an extent. Lacey, no, absolutely not. That is absolutely not true. Biologically, you are wrong. Now, will developing your abs make your six-pack deeper? Yes. But to say that they require any exercise to actually have a six-pack is biologically, medically a false statement. Period. A person who has never exercised or gotten up off a couch in their entire life has a six-pack if they lose enough fat. Okay, we need to be clear on that. It will be deeper if you develop them, but it is there. Like that separation is there under the fat. Do you notice your recovery faster between sets of all the running you're doing? No, not at all. I know everyone has a six-pack, but it's hard to see them. Well, no, it's still just a loss of body fat. Right? Lacey says, I've been counting calories and protein. If you do that, it gets real hard to not lose. I mean, if you're eating lots of protein and super clean, body fat tends to go down, right? Stevie, are you asking me if self-programming works? Yeah, of course it does. Everybody who's a good coach and expert in everything knows that. Visualization, self-programming absolutely works. Is that really even in question? Right? I'm not aware that that's even a point of contention, unless you know something that I don't. And maybe you do, right? I'm going to try to get the profile to do this one more time. See if it will go. If it will give me a stream here. No, it's not going to. All right, so. I guess we're just going to have to accept we're not going to triple stream today. We're only going to be on the tubes and the Facebook fitness page. And that's okay, guys. Jordan says, when I'm laying down, I can feel my six-pack are crazy thick. Right. I think he's talking about manifesting a six-pack. I don't know what he's talking about, honestly. I'm not really sure. Lacey says, I'm weighing 107 lately. It's a lot different than my pre-training 105. I'm not really sure. I assume by manifesting you mean self-programming mantras, programming yourself with things. All right. Well, no, I don't think that is going to do it, but you can make signs with mindset stuff that you can read and watch and set. Like I have stuff on my desk like that. I literally have stuff set under my desk with different things I want to focus on and to program in my mindset. And that works. Mantras before you lift, mantras before you compete, right? They work. All right. Kev, you have a home gym. Do you ever go to one of those commercial gyms? Kev, I'm going to assume you're pretty new to my channel. You don't remember me training in numerous gyms and powerlifting gyms and lifting gyms in the past and vlogging it? You know. I mean, I did tons of it back in the day, but I have a very extensive home gym. Why do I need to go to other gyms? Like, what would be the point? So you're very new. No, dude, I have trained in gyms in more than one country and uploaded it. All right. So Joe Smith says my testosterone was in the 600 when I was over fat. Then I lost 30 pounds and now measured in the 900 afternoon weight losses. Well, does more than any supplement. Okay, so Joe, you mean it does something? So yes, something is more than zero. There is no supplement that can boost testosterone, right? So if it went up 1 point is more than zero. You didn't need to go up 300 points. You could have gone up 1 point. Supplements can't do anything to help your testosterone. So, realistically, any improvement is more than a supplement will give. You don't even need the 300. One is more than zero. You're good. But yes, not being fat will help. One of the biggest things you can do. I mean, just objectively speaking, in terms of benefits. But we have quite a bit of data on that, though, don't we? Tyrone says, drop your likes, guys. Tell him, Tyrone. All right. Subs to raise tests are a scam. It's not your opinion. It's pretty much a fact. Good afternoon, Coach. What's up, David? Dean says, hit the like mates. Tell them, Dean. That's right. Hit the like, guys, and reach up and ring Coach's bell. That's right. Get that outreach up. Kung Lao wins. Well, 3 times a week full body is still effective if you only want to do one set of the big 3, followed by a few sets of accessories for each of the big lifts. I can do. Yeah, it can still be effective. David says, what do your workouts look like over the weekend at the moment? I don't work out on the weekends. I run and I do my bike. I do some band work a little bit. Does that count? I probably won't this weekend. I think I need to chill on some of that. All right. Is that Turkestan effective? No, it's a scam. Turk is absolutely a scam. Right. Kung Lao Lynn says, think you're going to transition over starting Monday. Yeah, man, give it a try. Give it a try, brother. Yeah, Turkestone's absolutely a scam. No, I think we all realize that. Hopefully we all realize it. That's kind of scary if anybody doesn't. It's a very sad state of affairs if anybody does not realize that at this point. Three days a week is so boring. Not gonna lie, why? You can go do cardio. I lift 3 days and then I run 3 days. It's not boring. Works great. You can get pretty serious jackitude. Do sets a long time snake oil sleeves bag, pretty much. I mean, people who are selling any supplement beyond maybe protein powder or creatine is a scam artist. I mean, protein is not really a scam. Protein powder is just food, right? We all get that. Outside of basic stuff like that, it's pretty much scam artists. They are a scam artist if they are selling other stuff. They're a snake oil salesman by default. Especially when they start going to pre-workouts, test, yeah. I heard we can digest protein powder as well than normal food. Please reword your comment. I have no idea what you asked. You worded that incorrectly. I don't think that's what you meant to say. So why would you think that's true? I mean, it's kind of pre-digested. You mean, do you digest it faster and more efficiently? Possibly. Depending on the protein powder, though. I mean, are you talking about whey protein or are you talking about something else? Keep in mind, different protein powders would be completely different substances. They're not even related substances. 3 days full body is perfect. It frees you up to do MMA, cardio, and other hobbies. Absolutely. Decent says lifting 6 days a week is boring. You will not get fit. You will be all show and no go. You'll also probably be overtrained unless you're running plenty of gear. Any benefits of isolation of doing enough compounds? Man, Dean, we could make a big argument on that, couldn't we? If you're doing enough compounds, no, you may not see any significant growth from isolation work. I mean, if we go off the available research we have, you'll still grow from it. You'll be beat up. Yeah, that's the point. Tyrone said, I did stretching mobility today, took a long hot bath yesterday, was really sore from good mornings, just add them in. That's probably novel training response. Lacey says, I do a lot of cardio, maybe more than lifting. I do more. I lift 5 days a week, been running a few miles a day. It's not by. Yeah, I do probably more cardio than I do lifting at this point too. Remember, there's a max threshold of volume you can recover from in a day. There's also a max threshold to where you're not getting a training response. Meaning, in order to even stimulate growth with a lot of volume, you have to space the sets out really far. Right? You're going to reach a point where your workouts are going to be 3 or 4 hours to even make the sets effective. Because once you start losing performance, you're not growing from those sets anymore. You're just doing junk volume. So before long, on a really high volume workout, you might be needing 10 minutes between sets. So you're looking at an extra hour to do 5 effective sets. And I think people forget that too. If you're not re-hitting the fastest twitch muscle fibers again, you're probably not growing from the set. And I don't care if it's a 5 rep or a 20 rep set. I had a bad cold for the last week, so I didn't bother with cardio. Back on it tomorrow, though. Yeah, I mean, if you got any sort of respiratory virus, cardio is not that workable. What are the psychological effects of having estrogen too low as a man? You won't be interested in sex. Psychologically, low testosterone or low estrogen, depression, loss of sex drive. Usually erectile dysfunction, you won't be able to get a hard on either. So. Okay, I'm running upper lower, push for legs, and I think it's amazing. Yeah, I don't get into that whole, this call was actually the fat training. Dog crap for everyone except big three, good or no? Are you talking about DC training? Because you did, it's 2 Gs if you mean dog crap training. What causes low estrogen? Drugs. Or low testosterone will cause low estrogen, but using the wrong drug combinations will cause estrogen too low. Just get rid of this guy. I don't know if you answered already. My stream keeps freezing up, so forgive me for asking again. It's 3 hard sets of squats and 3 hard sets of deadlifts enough each week for pretty good leg gains? I think it's decent, yeah. It's enough to get some decent gains. DC was super popular. Keep in mind, how do I put this? DC training was really intended for serious enhanced guys. Keep in mind the accompanying article with all of it was Cycling for Pennies that Dante wrote. I'm very familiar with Dante's old work. It was super popular back when I was fairly new. So Dante intended you guys to be running 2 grams of gear also, by the way. That's why he wrote Cycling for Pennies to go as an accompaniment to all the dog crap training. Right? You guys know that, right? Just make sure you're aware. Part of the protocol is to run 2,000 milligrams of steroids. If you're going to do the full DC training. And yeah, dudes got crazy big back in the day on that stuff. Basically working out 3 days a week, running a couple grams, going super hard, and all those sets to failure. Focused on progressive overload with low volume. They worked. Tips for lagging shoulders, you should train them. Since taking Jason's advice for a 3-day full body, I'll never go back. Boxing, jiu-jitsu, and hiking and Ralph Disney. There you go, man. What do you think you will hit first, a 225 press or 365 bench? 365 bench, honestly. I'm so far from being able to lock. I can't even lock 135 on an overhead press. I tried. So I benched 350 for a 2-second pause already, like a couple months back. So realistically, I am 100 pounds from the press. I'm 15 pounds from the bench. I don't think that's a big call. All right. Is there any evidence that animal protein raises estrogen levels? No. Jason already hit both. We're talking about currently, at this current body weight and getting leaner. I mean, I've benched 365 on camera before, and I've pressed 225 numerous times, and I was still doing it back in the day. But he's talking about these days. Most bodybuilders and some powerlifters cope hard to avoid getting fit. Bodybuilders can't fight or want to look tough. Makes you, yeah, I don't get. You know, I heard that milk raises estrogen. How could it? No, soy doesn't do that either. I mean, I've gone into a lot of detail regarding bioavailable estrogen and stuff in dairy. I really and truly wouldn't worry about it. How many sets you recommend per muscle? You know, I think 10 is a good ballpark baseline. Do you think 2025 Jason Blaha could outrun 2016 era? I wasn't running back then. Now, 2016, I was a little bigger, a little stronger. I was fatter, but I wasn't doing, I I wasn't doing any running, so obviously I think I got out running. Hey, Jordan. So Jason, do you ever think you'll go for overhead press PRs again? Man, do you want me to give you the honest answer without crying? I pray that I have the ability to one day. But you know what I would settle for right now? You know what I would settle for right now? To get within 100 pounds of my old PR and to actually be able to lock it. Like right now, I would be so happy if I could literally just lock out 1 plate per side. One time. Let alone 2 plates. Like I used to do. For me, that would be a PR these days, if I could actually just physically lock it. I'm almost able to lock the empty bar. So, do you eat honey? Yes, I cook with it. I add it to stuff. So that's the goal. The goal has been with all this to be able to get the full range of motion again. Now, I did some triples today with 135, but I can't actually lock it. I can get about 5 inches from a lockout. I can't quite lock an empty bar, but I can get fairly close. But I'm going to keep working on that range of motion, getting the bicep inflammation controlled and reduced. And I'm hoping there's no scar tissue, calcium deposits in the tendons causing it. All right, 3 sets of 5 versus 3 sets of 12. Is the stimulus the same both? I don't know. I mean, Dean, that's a whole book. Like that level of conversation is like a 2-hour conversation. What's your 5K time look like at this moment? After a certain point, I find it hard. My best one recent was like just over 28 minutes. I'm averaging like 30 minutes on most of them, but I'm not trying to push them hard. I'm just getting in and hitting some 5Ks and enjoying it. And occasionally I push for a PR. But I'm under 29. The goal is to get under 25 this year. Jason, do you think hypothyroidism is more common than it used to be? No, I don't think so. Not at all. There's no reason to think it is. Why would you think it is? No, people are fat because they eat too much. Appreciate the super chat, Dean. Thank you so much, brother. More like hyperthyroidism. Yeah, people eat tons of food. Their thyroid is going to be crazy fast, right? You guys do know overeating speeds up your thyroid, right? Is anyone unaware of this fact? Fat people have crazy thyroid outputs half the time. For genetic strong points, can we get away with low volume? My delts are huge with my chest legs. No, maybe you just need to train your chest correctly. If anything, you have strong delts. That means you're in a great position to just blow your chest up on your bench. But I mean, that's an option. But definitely in that case, you could put more effort into the chest and get your 9 sets in. But maybe I would say if your delts are huge, but your chest is lagging, we need to look at the way that you're bench pressing. Something's wrong. Certain muscles do take over, though. Not really. I mean, that's kind of a myth. Just because a muscle is a primary mover doesn't mean that it reduces load on the other muscles. It means your form might be bad to where you're using the muscle incorrectly. Right? Thanks, struggling to get to about 240 bench for reps, sitting at 175. So if your bench isn't growing your chest, you might want to look at your bench form and technique. I mean, I can do consultations. I do plenty of them. Oh, Luke is in Facebook. Luke, Jason, question for you. With decent, consistent training, how long in years do you think it takes to progress from an intermediate 5 centile lifters to advanced to elite? Intermediate to advanced, probably for most guys, 2 to 3 years. To elite, I don't know that everyone's going to reach elite. So it's not a time. That's like how long is a piece of string. You're dealing with both consistency and genetics. I mean, to go from advanced to elite for a genetically average guy, It could be 10 years, you know, or more. Maybe he won't reach it. Thanks certainly gets you about. That's not even the bet. Polar bear versus Liberian tiger, who wins? I have no idea. Do you do one-off consultations? Would you be okay if you review my form? Yeah, Des, if you read all the stickies, I do tons of non-client one-off consultations. And I have people who repeatedly do them. I have people who do one every year. I have people who do one every 6 months, or I have people who just do them one time. They're $100. It's an hour of my time. We get in a video call and cover whatever you need to cover, including looking at your form, all that stuff. I probably do 2 or 3 of those a month on average. The average month, 2 to 3 of those. It's pretty normal. Yeah, we all want a different journey. That's true. There's a study saying protein. Hey, Dingle, I really wouldn't worry about that much. Awesome. I'll look into it probably within the next few weeks. Thank you. All good, man. Yeah. Anyway, that's weird because my skin looks younger on a high protein diet. And I think people get confused with mechanistic data versus something actually applying. Be very, very careful with mechanistic data that's not expressed in the population. High protein isn't good enough. So just be aware of that. We run into a lot of nutrition problems when people look at mechanistic data and look at a potential mechanism that doesn't actually appear. Well, I'm in the US, so we don't have mince. Mince is a completely British term. Americans don't know what mince is. Had I not lived in the UK, I would have no idea what mince is. For Americans, which is most of my audience, he means ground meat. Like ground meat, they call it mince, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not. It just is what it is. I don't generally buy it. High protein equals more thermic effect and more wear and tear. Why would he? You guys are getting into a lot of really nuanced stuff. No, Jordan, even the numbers you're spitting out is those experts who are doing that in the longevity would claim that that's going to age you, that that's way too much. Realistically, though, guys, this mechanistic data they're talking about for people over 100 years old. They're not talking about it's going to make you age faster at 60 or 70. What they're looking at is that hypothetically people chasing the most extreme longevity, assuming you keep your muscle on point, should probably moderate protein if your goal is to live to be 110. Does that make sense? But the higher protein is going to give you more muscle mass, which will help stave off sarcopenia and stuff in your 60s, 70s, 80s. So understand the difference of what this conversation is. These are conversations about extreme longevity. Yeah, 0.8 grams per pound is considered a very high protein diet, and that's pretty optimal for muscle growth. But that's the point they're making. Like you may not make it past 90 or 100 doing that. Is kind of what the data is showing. Like that sort of protein intake might be a problem if you're trying to live past 100. It's not going to hurt you at 70. So understand the mechanisms they're talking about, the hypothetical on the extreme end. Put it in context. Yeah, I mean for gym goers, not inactive old people, right? But inactive old people don't make it to 100 either, do they? They all are very, very active. At least they walk every day minimum. But we've seen plenty of cases of the fitness gurus who didn't use a bunch of gear living a long time. Look at Jack LaLanne. Dude was like in his 80s doing deadlifts and saying that he attributed not needing a walker by doing heavy deadlifts his whole life. Remember, Jack LaLanne was the first fitness influencer. He had a black and white TV show about lifting weights, like in the 50s. He was the OG. And so Jack LaLanne was literally the OG of all of fitness influencing ideas. He was the first person to have a TV show about working out. Okay. And he loved the deadlift. And so Jack LaLanne, they asked him when he was like 87 years old, right? Still working out and being fit, right? And, he had said he attributed the deadlifting his whole life with being able to walk around and still have a straight back and to not need a walker or a cane to walk around at like 87 or whatever it was. Because the dudes over here, they're like interviewing him while he's working out at the gym and stuff in his 80s. He died in his 90s of pneumonia, right? He didn't have a heart attack. He didn't get cancer. He died of pneumonia in his 90s. But he was the OG of all of what we're doing, those of us who put out content. He was the first content creator. He had a black and white television show. Over there lifting dumbbells and stuff, teaching people to lift weights. All right, so he was pretty much the man. All right, Jack LaLanne was the man. Yeah, he was lean and fit. I mean, but, you're looking at him and there was still stuff with him over here promoting lifting weights and working out in his 80s. Dude's walking around in his 80s, like still telling people, hey, you need to eat fruits and vegetables. You need to avoid junk food. Like he was over here saying, oh, no, refined sugars. You shouldn't touch that stuff. You need to lift weights. And today that sounds normal. But back then it wasn't. Like this dude's up here lifting weights and telling everybody, oh, no, man, that refined sugar, that stuff, no, that's garbage. You don't want that. Don't eat a bunch of refined stuff. You need to eat real foods. You need to pump some iron, right? He was that first guy up here on the TV telling everybody this. Like he is the OG of all of this. The guy who was putting it out there in the public. I mean, dude's up there on the TV saying, no, you got to pump some iron. And no, don't eat all that junk food. Don't eat all that sugar and junk. Oh, don't eat it. It's bad for you. It's poison. While he's over here curling dumbbells. Right? It doesn't matter that his programming wasn't great. He's the OG. And you got to give credit for that. He knew. He said he felt like it was common. This is a bunch of processed junk. And he would say stuff like, look, you eat it, you feel bad. That should tell you everything. Aging is a weird thing. I know people 80 years old who look and act mid-50s and vice versa. I know people who are 60 who look and act 85. Yeah. I think hot baths can help recovery. Right? And it's used, so stop and think about it from a common sense perspective. What does a hot bath do? Improves blood flow to your muscle tissue, and it relaxes you. What is anything that relaxes you? Like really relaxes you do? Lowers cortisol. Lowering stress hormones, getting blood flow to your muscles. There's nothing bad. It's not like a magic method. It's just common sense, right? There's nothing magical about it. There's no crazy pathway. It reduces stress, it increases blood flow. Right. Yeah, you're comparing different people, but we can also look at statistics and averages. Just because you see outliers of different stuff too doesn't tell you anything, right? So I hate it when people do that with fitness related stuff. Well, I know this person and they lived or whatever, and they did X or Y, and this other person died. The same level of logic. I know someone who ate rat poison and didn't die. They're still alive. Therefore, if we remove statistics of probabilities and we go purely off that anecdote, we would all say it's perfectly fine to eat rat poison. I know someone who ate some and lived, therefore it's okay. Do you prescribe hot baths? No, but I mean, I talk to them about different recovery that they might use. No, I don't prescribe, you need to do 3.5 hot bath. No. Do blue light filter glasses work? Possibly, Sam. I throw them in the category of maybe. While I'm not convinced, I think that it's a viable possibility. I know someone who trains years who thinks the rock is natural. Well, we all know stupid people doesn't. 3 sets of hot, but yeah, I prescribe 3 sets of 10 on the hot bath. There's been wild pigs with Blaha blast blew me down from it. It's not rat poison, Carter. I'm very familiar with the blue meat situation, and it's actually in their fat tissue. So the stuff that the state here poisons them with turns the meat blue so that people know not to eat it. Because we have so many of them that the state at this point, years ago in Texas, just started poisoning them because the hunters and people wiping them out are not killing enough of them. And they're still a plague. So the state just started poisoning millions of them. And yeah, it turns the meat blue. I've probably killed 50 of them in my life. So I got 12 and I got 8 in one day, not 12. I got 8 in one day before. And as soon as I got the call, also peppermint. Now that's been over 20 years. Yeah, my record is 8. I got lucky and caught that many out in an open field. They didn't have room to run. So they were out in the cow pasture. So they were 300 yards from the nearest fence line. They didn't have a chance. Feral hogs, Dean, on the family ranch. So we used to have to clear them out because they were super destructive. Yeah, they're absolutely a nuisance. Do dead hangs? Sometimes. I try to do at least one a day. Is buffalo meat healthier than cow meat? No, I like bison. I like bison quite a bit. Is it healthier? No, I don't think necessarily. Still a matter of total saturated fat content is really your concern. That's really what you need to be looking at with that net saturated fat content. But I like bison. I think it's a quality meat. You still go hunting? No, I haven't gone hunting in a long time. I grew up doing it. I haven't been hunting in over 20 years at this point. I got burned out clearing out wild hogs in the family ranch. I kind of lost my... But no, I grew up deer hunting and dove hunting and all that since I was like 6, 7 years old. Jason, have you ever wondered what woolly mammoth? No, I haven't wondered. Don't really care. No, I don't stand around wondering what woolly mammoth tasted like. I mean, I suppose we could wonder, but I don't see what the practical benefit is to this. I know, weird animal questions. It's on Netflix. That's a strange way to start a conversation. What's on Netflix? Afternoon, Coach. What's up, Lars? How you doing? Coach getting that cardio did, though. No, I haven't been hunting in a long time. I mean, I might hunt again one day. I'm not wild about it. You know, I did my share of it growing up, all the way up to including primitive weapon hunting, you know, with knives, using Bowie knife. Caught that pun, Coach? Not wild. Exactly. You're not wild about it. I mean, I ended up giving meat away. I don't even like venison, so I always gave the deer away. I actually don't like venison. I like dove, though. I had bird's nest seed before. It's no different than any other whole. I mean, I think people overhype the benefit of some vitamin found in some food somewhere. Like raises, crunches, and front planks enough for the core. Sure. Jason, you coach in Neanderthal powerlifting. You think you would be on your top lifters? Of course. You're there yet, man. It's not the leanness. I don't mind the leanness. It's the gamey. It's the gamey taste. And I live in Texas. Like, good luck getting rid of that. It's still usually hot here when you hunt. So it's difficult getting it on ice quick enough to get rid of that. You know, well, influencers are quacks these days are convinced a whole lot of people to waste their money on. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I think this is what we're missing. Fitness people so hunting obsessed. I don't know. I don't think they all are. I've seen a guy showing herbs to cure autism. Wow. Imagine the meat is amazing in Texas. I mean, the steak is, but deer is not. Our venison sucks. Our wild game doesn't taste that great here. I'm speaking as someone who's hunted most of the stuff here. You know, squirrel, whitetail, feral hogs. I could pass on all of it. Want to go on an archery elk hunt? Man, that's a whole different thing there. I've been on an elk hunt. I've been on an elk hunt. I have shot one elk. She was absolutely delicious. Having seen the size of an elk, I'm really shocked anyone's taking them down with a bow. Like, man, that's a whole different. Yeah. Frog meat does not taste like chicken. Yeah, that's a lie your parents tell you to get you to try frog legs and then you puke it up. Ooh, that's a funny joke. That's real. Thanks, Dad. You know, that's a trick to get you to try it. No, it does not taste anything like chicken. All right. The bone density was insane. No, Neanderthals are stronger than humans. Elk is good. Elk is delicious. Once you try, you realize they lied to you. Yeah, dude, it doesn't taste anything like chicken. Speaking from experience, you know the grossest meat I've ever eaten is alligator. Yes, I tried all these things. I don't like any of it. If you had a son what age? For me personally, if they wanted to start lifting, if they showed an interest, I'd probably 8 to 10 years old would be okay for lifting. Because I know how to instruct them. Neanderthal sounds like it's way above, right? No, Neanderthals were super strong. Like paleontologists and anthropologists that realize this biologically, they were stronger than us. Like just straight up. You can tell from their skeletal structure. All right. Why would it stunt growth plate? Jordan, why are you spreading old, outdated myths? Like, why are you perpetrating outdated myths? Next, you're going to tell us lifting weights makes you slow. So athletes shouldn't lift weights because it makes them slow. Jesus Christ. This is 2025. Did you really just bring up the stunning growth plates? In 2025. I mean, bro, this is 2025. Like, how old are you to even know this old, outdated? Are you like 60 years old? Oh my God. Yeah, dude, that is like so antiquated, like made fun of. Like people would make fun of you for that. Like, wow. Like you don't even lift level. You're supposed to be some soccer mom who's 60 years old. Full body 3 days or upper lower. I like the full body 3 days. Everyone's parents used to, yeah, they did, but it's not based on reality. There were mythologies here, not fake news, right? Coach, how do you think we fix the obesity? We have to get rid of all the junk food. Yeah, the same people who think it's stunts growth are the same people who think the rock is natural. Yeah, coach, you're gonna bust your ass when you say stuff like that. I am, dude. I'm gonna bust your balls when you come up with, oh, from my grandpappy, the lifting weights will stunt your growth. He told me that back in 1947. Shoulders and traps are looking used. Thanks, man. That's overhead pressing. My great grandpappy told me not to lift them weights. Said it would stunt my growth. Oh man. My great grandpappy told me this. He survived the Civil War. Upright rows or overhead press for size, both. I think they're both great exercises. The average American diet is so bad that the main source of antioxidants for most Americans is coffee. That's pretty bad. There's truth to that. I saw a study, yeah. I saw some data saying one time that it looked like up to 30% of the antioxidants in the average American's diet is coming from their coffee. Yeah, don't lift weights, you'll hurt your back. Hey, Sam, no. I've done videos on that whole myth. You do know that scientists never supported that. Do you know that whole science and doctors supported cigarettes was complete fabrication by the cigarette industry with actors? It was never true. It was entirely actors and paid actors that the tobacco industry funded. Do you know why they did it? And people to this day, this shows how powerful advertising is. This is how powerful advertising is. To this day, people still think that scientists and doctors were pushing cigarettes as healthy. That's how powerful advertising is. that people still think that that was actually a thing purely because of the commercials from the tobacco industry. Do you know why they made those commercials? Right? Because the first researchers in like the 20s were saying, hey, everybody's smoking and we're not sure, but it looks like it might contribute to lung cancer. So a group of scientists got up and made like an announcement saying, hey, we were running some numbers here and we found a really strong correlation between people who smoke these things and lung cancer. We're actually worried. We want to do some further studies because it looks like it might be hurting people. Okay. That hit the news when a group of researchers got up and said, hey, we found a correlation here. We don't know that it's causing it, but we need to research this further. It could be causing lung cancer. Like it's the first indicator, like nobody had any idea. So when that happened, the tobacco companies dropped millions of dollars into advertising to counter it. Right? Do you think nutrition quality during adolescent phase is a factor for growth, or it's about getting enough? No, I think it's definitely a factor. Absolutely a factor. Right? More nutrition, more potential for height. It's why I tell teenagers not to cut. When you get teenagers, they're 16, I'm going to cut and get really ripped. You want to restrict your calories down during your growth phase? Maybe don't get fat and you won't have to worry about this. You don't want to cough and brace your, there you go. Was there a time when mainstream scientists believed that lifting stunted growth? I'm not sure. There was doctors were worried about that at one time. But that's been a really long time. And I'm joking with the grandpappy, but I mean, it's in the last 20 years or so that's been kind of more or less, that's not really a real concern. Right. It was definitely a concern like 30 years ago. They were concerned. There wasn't direct evidence. Like there weren't like documented cases. No, I mean, we should be listening to science. But look at scientific data. Don't look at politics. Keep in mind, there's a difference between evidence and political-driven antics, right? Seems like sound advice telling teens not to cut, right? Now, granted, if you're a teenager and you're obese and your doctor wants you to lose weight, I get it. But dudes who are at a healthy body fat, who are like, I'm 16, I want to shred down, that's actually potentially, that could stunt your growth a little bit. Yeah, that could cost you half an inch. So it's better to prevent them from getting fat. Yeah, just don't get fat. I mean, look, again, we come back over to a standard line. Look how many problems in life can be avoided by just not getting fat. Right? That's why I laugh when people say Coach flip-flop, he's just following recent scientific, right? I mean, so we go look at data and we find something specific regarding what happens in the liver with polyunsaturated fats or something and say, Coach flip-flop, no, I'm just going off all the metabolic work data. Right. I'm very familiar with the water cut for wrestling. Should it be illegal? No, because those teenagers are making a choice, but I can get the concerns. I don't know that we need to regulate that, but I don't know what the answer is for that. It can be problematic. And yes, I've known someone who suffered health problems from her cutting for high school wrestling. She had major hormonal issues in her 20s later. Like it messed her up. And granted, she was doing really well. She competed really high level, like as far as high school goes. But yeah, it really messed her up. Like, how bad did it mess her up? She had a period every 2 weeks for the next 8 years. She went 2 years or 3 years in high school without having one with the wrestling. And then once she reached 20, she started having 2 a month for years. It was, there's problems. All right, guys, it's about time to wind this down. Love you guys. This is enough cardio on a lifting day and the Facebook. Yeah, love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.